Hi, this is Brian at Sonora Fly Company. We just wanted to do a quick tutorial on a fly that we're going to tie this coming Thursday in our Introduction to Fly Tying class. It's a classic, it's an easy fly to tie. So let's go ahead and get started. So in the vise we have a Firehole Sticks 5/16 jig hook, number 12. And we're going to use a 3.5 millimeter copper slotted tungsten bead. For thread, what I'm going to use is some Veevus 10-aught and Fluorescent orange, and we'll go ahead and just lay a thread base down. For a tail, we are going to use barred and speckled Coq De Leon, and what I like to do is strip off the under fibers until I get to the good stuff, and I'm only going to want about maybe 4 fibers here. That looks good. So you strip those off together, keep them pinched in your right hand. You're going to lay those across the top of the shank of the hook. With your left hand, your index finger and your thumb, just go ahead and pinch that in place. Now what I'm going to do here is called a pinch wrap. And you loosely bring your thread up from the back side and put it in between your index finger and your thumb. Come back around the hook, and you don't apply pressure until you're pulling back up. That will lock those fibers right on top of that hook shank. You can go ahead and capture the rest of them. Bring that thread forward again. Clip off the excess. And one thing to bear in mind here, you want a nice short tail. You don't want that tail to be too long. So better to be a little bit too short than a little bit too long on that, I think. So next what we're going to use is some Brassie sized copper wire, and we'll lay that in on top of the shank, tie it in, and as I work it back, I'm going to bring that copper wire on my side of the hook shank as I'm tying that thread back. You'll see why here in a little bit. Next, the body material is going to be just ringneck pheasant tail, center tails, natural color. These are nature spirits. And same thing, you're going to want to peel back about, I don't know, 5 or 6 fibers here, and just pull those right off the spine of the feather. These I'll usually line up, and I'll clip the tips. These tips are super delicate. I'll lay those in on top of the hook shank, tie them in. You're going to kind of roll those towards the front side of the hook shank. And go ahead and build this body. You want to build a nice taper as you work that thread forward. And here I'm going to twist these fibers together just to give them a little bit more strength. And I'm going to wrap these the opposite way, the same way as you are wrapping your thread. So looking at the front of the hook, it's going to be clockwise moving forward. And what I like to do is use my right hand to spin them around and just hold them in place with my left hand as I move them forward. And I want to leave a little bit of space here. I don't want to crowd that head just yet. So go ahead and put a couple loose wraps up there. Capture that material. Clip out the excess. At this point, we're going to take that copper ribbing and we're going to wind that the opposite way. And this is why you laid that on your side of the hook shank. You're going to wind it the opposite way that you are winding your thread in that body. Nice even turns. Get to the front, go ahead and capture that. Usually put a couple more good hard turns on that, and then I'll keep some pressure here on my thread, and I'll helicopter that wire off. Gives you a really nice clean break there. A couple more turns. And the final step here is putting the collar on. Use a little bit of wax. And one thing to keep in mind here, we're going to use Ice Dub UV Shrimp Pink. This is a staple in every tier's box. You're going to use this material for a lot of different flies. Less is more here, so just to use a little tiny bit here. It's really easy to get this overdubbed. That looks pretty good right there. Keep that nice and tight up against the bead there. And then once you get that on, I like to make about 3 or 4 or 5 more turns with that orange thread. We're going to create one more little orange hot spot in front of that collar. So at this point, I'll just take some brushable Loctite. Just put a little bit on that thread. Four more turns maybe, and then a 3-turn whip finish on top of that. Go ahead and clip off the excess, and that fly is ready to fish. It's a staple. It works in all of our rivers. It's an easy fly to tie, so we highly recommend it. Look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday, and we'll try to crank these videos out every week. So hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.